this is Mike with the Advertising Report Card and the Fill Your Trucks program, and this is a mover marketing discussion about where to get leads from. I just broke down Angie's List on this table, and for comparison, we're going to look at Google Guaranteed as a second option, okay? So with that being said, let's just dive right in. And then if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or reach out to me. As far as Google Guaranteed goes, I really don't recommend a budget less than $1,000 a month. And I'm going to explain to you why that is. Because Google Guaranteed, cost per lead about $100. I mean, you used to be able to get leads on Google Guaranteed for $50, $60 a lead, depending on where you're at. Google's increased their prices, whether that's Google artificially increasing the price or there's just more competition using Google Guaranteed. This video is not about speculating on Google. It's more or less about the numbers for movers. But in reality, after looking at hundreds of Google Guaranteed accounts, this is a pretty average number. Now, you might be able to get 11, so you might hit 90. You might be able to get 12. You might hit 83. I love this range. This is a great range for Google Guaranteed. But in reality, if you have, like, let's just say 800, you're probably, like, I would say that you should have a reasonable expectation to pay about $100 per lead. So with that being said, Angie's List is a great example of leads that are good versus not. Google Guaranteed, let's say you get 8. The vast majority of the Google Guaranteed leads should be good leads. If you have your Google Guaranteed dialed in the zip codes and the areas that you want to work, and you have the criteria for the jobs that you want to get as jobs that produce good revenue, you should be able to get decent leads from that. Another thing to consider with Google Guaranteed is that these people are reaching out to you directly, right? So as long as you're good on the phone, you're good in sales, you have good customer service, you're responsive, you're doing the things that the other movers are not. If they call you back, you're answering. If you can't answer, you're texting. As long as you're generating the rapport and you're doing the things that the other movers are not. And what I mean by that specifically is salesmanship and customer service. You should be able to close a decent percentage of Google Guaranteed leads, right? So then if we put that 4 in, one thing that you can see is that this is a pretty high close rate, right? It's about anywhere between 50 to 80% is a good range for Google Guaranteed. If you have 6 good leads and close 3, you're at a 50% close rate. We're going to leave it at 4. But if you look at this, what's really interesting is if you look at the Angie's List cost, 1,000 versus, let's just call it 1,000 for Google Guaranteed. And let's call it 10 because it's about $100 per lead. And the lead quality is, let's just put it at 7. So you have a pretty decent amount of Google Guaranteed leads. And these are actual numbers. This isn't completely me pulling this out of a hat like a rabbit. These are literal numbers that you can pretty much lean on. About 50% close rate for Google Guaranteed. Your cost per close on Google Guaranteed can be similar to Angie's List, if not better, depending on your ability to close direct leads. And what I mean direct leads is people who call you, reach out to you, and they've chosen you through the Google Guaranteed platform, right? So with that being said, what kind of revenue are you generating from Google Guaranteed? Unlike Angie's List with Google Guaranteed, you can pick the zip code, you can pick the type of job, and big thing here is you can also get a refund on the lead. If you do not sell that lead and you do not work on that lead, then that is an opportunity for you to get a refund. We personally, whenever somebody works with us and we do their Google Guaranteed, we have a SOP internally to where if somebody does not work with you and you know those leads, you can go back and contest those leads. Some movers know how to do this and they're good at it. Others didn't even know that they could do it. Others have tried to go back and have failed. It's all about the process, about how to get the refund back from Google. But in reality, if you look at the amount of leads, 50 leads versus 10 leads, you're going to think to yourself, ooh, 50 leads, that could change this course of my business. Versus 10 leads from Google Guaranteed, that's like a huge difference. $100 a lead versus 20, that's 5 times as many leads on Angie's List. But if you watched my Angie's List video, you would know, and you probably are listening to this and going to start nodding your head, that half of those Angie's List leads are probably going to respond, maybe even more, but less than half of those are going to be leads that you want to work, and 100% of those Angie's List leads have just been sent out to 20 different people. So now you got 20 different moving companies that also bought that $20 lead competing with you. Google Guaranteed is a one-to-one relationship, meaning that they reached out to you after selecting you, and as long as you answer the phone and respond to them, as long as you do that too before the next moving company can, then you're going to win that business. So the close rate from Google Guaranteed tends to be higher than leads from Angie's List, which is why a lot of companies that when they hit that 30K, 40K, 50K, 60K range start to pull budget out of Angie's List and put them more into buckets like Google Guaranteed. Why do movers wait until that time to make that move? Because of the perceived cost difference. You think $1,000 is expensive for 10 leads until you realize that the value of these leads, like the average estimate value, isn't $750. If you're in the zip code that you want to do work in because they have the home property values, it's not in the metro area, so you're not moving apartments. It's in areas where there's suburbs and there's houses that you want to work. Those tend to be higher estimate value. Now, if you're in a really nice area, those people also want packing. Sometimes they also want temporary storage, and then you have to go and move the storage into the house once the house is ready to have the rest moved in. Those become multi-job leads. So the real reality behind this is that Google Guaranteed might seem more expensive, but you have a much better chance of growing your moving business with less leads of higher quality as long as you can close them. I'm going to do a reversal here and make it, what's the devil's advocate and the exception here? If you're still sharpening your blade, if you are having a hard time closing deals, if you're unsure of how to structure your package, is it flat rate? Is it a bulk rate? Are you selling 2 movers in a truck, or are you just selling hourly? If you haven't figured that out yet, Angie's List is a great place to practice. But if you're confident in your ability to sell and provide customer service and communicate proactively that when you get these leads, Google Guaranteed per job is going to generate you more revenue than Angie's List per job, objectively speaking. Meaning that without having a feeling about this, that's the objective truth by the numbers. So, Google Guaranteed versus Angie's List. I recommend Google Guaranteed over Angie's List, with the exception that if you're just getting started and you're at that 0, 5K, 10K range, maybe even 20K range, and you're still figuring stuff out, Angie's List is going to give you what they call more at-bats. You're going to have more opportunity to work more leads. Are they going to be lower quality? Yes. Are you going to have to bid lower? Yes. But sometimes to start your business, you don't just have to build your revenue or your pipeline. You have to build your confidence. You have to structure your product. You have to structure your service. So with all that being said, if you have any further questions about this, leave a comment. Feel free to reach out. This is a part 6 of our exercise for the Fill Your Trucks Revenue Calculator. There's multiple parts through it, which will pretty much create the blueprint for your business. If you want to go through this exercise with us, feel free to reach out and we will schedule it. This is Mike with Advertising Report Card of the Fill Your Trucks program. Have a good day.